Okay, Rabbi say, this is quite difficult. What I mean to say by that is this is a sugya gedola that has many different aspects to it. Many different aspects. And I'd like to focus on one of those aspects and a number of perhaps tentacles that come out from these aspects. We've been speaking about this, and we ended with this discussion on Shmini Atzeres at night. Then all things changed, Shmini Atzeres in the morning. We spoke about Koshalai Pridaschem, about having a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the goal, to have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And as we spoke about that, as I mentioned, Shmini Atzeres night, then I was met by a prominent member of the community who told me what happened. That's about 7:45 on Shabbos morning. Shmini Atzeres in the morning. I came into shul. I told the people at the early minyan, told the people at the 8:30 minyan. Then we sent out 2 people down Tui to tell all the shuls on Tui. There was an incredible feeling of Achdus among everybody. There was an incredible feeling of Achdus. That morning, incredible feeling of Achdus. All the Batei Kinesios, the Batei Midrashos, Kulam B'yachad. There's a very famous Rashi. Rashi is in next week's parsha, Parshas Noach. It's a Rashi that needs a lot of sophistication. Don't read the words as they are simply stated, because that's a mistake. Rashi's talking about the difference between the Dor HaMabul and the Dor HaFlog. They have no chelik in Olam Haba. Chiezo Koshe asks Rashi, which door is more difficult? Which door's Avera is worse? Dor HaMabul or Dor HaFlog? The Dor HaMabul did not say they don't believe in God. And the Dor HaFlog said, we don't believe in God. We're going to fight God. The Dor HaMabul died. The Dor HaFlog was not destroyed. The Dor HaMabul Hayu Gazlon. They were thieves. And it was fighting between the people. Therefore they were lost. They were destroyed. There was love between them. Says Rashi. Shalom is Godol, and Machloikis is hating. Well, this does not mean, and no one should misinterpret Rashi to think that a person who is a Machal Shabbos, as long as he's involved in Achdus, everything's fine. That's absolutely incorrect. There's no shaykhus. A person who is a Machal Shabbos, Shachwan al-Zan is a Machal Shabbos. A person who is a kaifer is a kaifer. There happens to be, vis-a-vis the punishment and the difference between the Dor HaMabul and the Dor HaFlogo, there's a difference. The Dor HaMabul, who believed in God, had one major chesaron that the Dor HaFlogo didn't have. Or said differently, the Dor HaFlogo had a milah. Despite the fact they didn't believe in God, they had a milah. And that milah was that there was Achdus, and that saved their lives. It didn't say that it saved them from being punished. They got punished. Don't make the mistake that Achdus is a credit card and you can get home free. It's not what it means. Now, but the Yesod from Rashi is that Achdus, Ava, Godol HaSholem. That's number one. Number two, what is a Jewish war? The Torah discusses explicitly what a Jewish war is and how a Jewish war is conducted. This is at the end of Parshas B'Shalach. We have a war. We have a war. There's amazing Chasam Sofer. Samsayva says something which is absolutely amazing vis-a-vis the war. Who's the war? Amalek. Amalek attacks us. Amalek attacks us. Question number one. Ever bother you this question? How did Amalek attack us? Why wasn't everybody inside the Ananiya covered? Who were they attacking? The Mitzrayim tried to get into the Ananiya covered, they couldn't get in. How could Amalek attack us? Amazing. Rashi says at the end of Parshas Kiseitze why Amalek couldn't attack us. Why Amalek could attack us, Rashi says, who were they attacking? Machmas Chetam, the sinners that the Anan was pult on. The Ananiya covered threw out sinners. They got expelled. So the sinners are outside, the Chaitim are outside the Ananiya covered. And Amalek comes to attack. Who are they attacking? They're attacking the sinners. What happens? So now we have the battle. What's the battle? Get an army and go out and do battle with Amalek. Then he adds, and tomorrow I'm going to be standing on a mountain. With who? He went out to do battle with Amalek for the sake of the people who were sinners. You want to know what sins they were over? Mishkav Zochar, Avodah Zarah. I should put my life on the line for them. And then what happened? And then he told Yeshua, Moshe Aaron B'chur all the way Shagiva. Moshe Aaron B'chur went up to the top of the mountain. So Moshe Aaron B'chur at the top of the mountain. Yeshua is down below in the valley. Moshe lifted up his hands, not some schooler. Moshe lifted up his hands, he was davening. Moshe was davening. His hands were up, they won, they were winning. His hands were down, they were losing. Why were his hands down? Moshe Kvedim. It was very difficult to keep his hands up. So what did they do for him? He took a stone. Says Rashi, why a stone? Why did he sit down on pillows? Yisrael Shriim B'tzar, Afaniya Imam B'tzar. I can't sit on a pillow now. They're down there fighting a war. I'm not sitting on a pillow. So point one is, we have an army that fights. Point two is, we have people who are davening. Point three is, the people who are not fighting are in tsar, meaning that they are not sitting on a couch, on a recliner. And who are we fighting for? The sinners. Everybody has to go out and fight to save these people from the enemies. That's a Jewish war. Unbelievable. That's a Jewish war. Some Sefer saying Poshup shot in the Psukim. Moshe is sitting on a stone. Yeshua is fighting a battle. And Moshe is davening. And don't think, says Rashi, the famous Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, Moshe lifts up his hands. It's Moshe's hands that make the Mulchama. It's the tefillah generated by Moshe's hands. They're davening. It's a tefillah. Klal Yisrael works on tefillah. The fight Amalek. It's unbelievable. The fight Amalek. Then there's a Sfas Emes. Sfas Emes says, an unbelievable thing. Kadosh Baruch Hu went, Hichzir, to Bnei Esav and Yishmael. We say this all the time in Shul. He offered the Goyim the Torah. Now, there are 70 Ummos. 35 are under the power of Esav, 35 are under the power of Yishmael. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, Mitzad Avram Avinu, he had offered the Torah to Yishmael. Yishmael was Avram's son. Mitzad Yitzchak, he had offered the Torah to Esau, because Esau was Yitzchak's son. Then he says an unbelievable thing. Yom the Royim has the power to push away Esau. Sukkis has the power to push away Yishmael. We avoid the Yisera to Esau. This Vasem is talking. Shehu, Yishmael is Ma'akev the Gula of Bnei Yisrael. Yishmael is Ma'akev the Gula of Bnei Yisrael. What's stopping Mashiach from coming? Yishmael. Yalav Nemar. Ubekoyach HaTorah, Shikoichel Shel Yaakov, whose son is neither Yishmael nor Esau. Ubekoyach HaTorah, Shikoichel Shel Yaakov Avinu, Goivrim Bnei Yisrael Akol Eila. But Noitlan HaMalchus Miyodehem. And that is Atzeres, which is Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. That's the way Klal Yisrael works. Rabbi Zev, this is not a war like a regular war. It's going on in Ukraine and Russia. When Jews are involved in a war, it's a completely different war. It's Yishmael fighting Klal Yisrael. That's what's going on here. The New York Times is not going to report that, and CNN is not going to report that. Yishmael is fighting Klal Yisrael. And Yishmael has always been fighting Klal Yisrael. Because they made an incredible mistake when they rejected the Torah, despite the fact that it was offered to them because of the Schus Avram Avinu. So we need Achdus. And I know, I don't want to talk. I know all about Achdus. Achdus does not mean to compromise halacha. There's no compromising halacha because of Achdus. Achdus means, I've been telling people, don't watch videos. I'm not changing my mind. You don't have to listen to me. Don't watch videos. Gruesome videos do nothing. You want to listen, you want to read, watch a video. You want to watch a video? I'll tell you a video to watch. Watch a video of a bunch of Hasidic men and Litvish Bachrim and Hasidic Bachrim with camouflage material making tzitzis for soldiers. Go watch that video. Watch the video of people serving food when they cash it out the restaurants in Tel Aviv, which unfortunately were not kosher, which is a shrek. Makes you cry. But Baruch Hashem, they cash in the restaurants. Achdus does not mean sending non-kosher food. Sending kosher food, gewaldig. Kashering the restaurants, gewaldig. Halavai will remain kosher. Say amen. Amen. And then we need Torah. And we need tefillah. We need soldiers. We need Achdus. We need soldiers. And we need tefillah. And we need Torah. That's Klal Yisrael. That's how Klal Yisrael fights. It's a different war. Rafta es riva. Hashem ish mulchama, Hashem shemoi. So somebody asked me a shayla. A woman in shul. We have so many people with Yerush Shamayim. Called me and asked me, should we minimize our food intake over Shabbos? Great shayla. I mentioned this week, I spoke at a yeshiva in town. I mentioned this week, Mordechai Shulman, the son-in-law of Isaac Sher, was the son of Alta Slobodka, told a friend of mine who became the founding Rosh Yeshiva of Edison, Rabbi Yaakov Yisrael. So Rabbi Yaakov Yisrael told me, Mordechai Shulman told him, that the Chofetz Chaim's wife told him, that for 7 years, when the Chofetz Chaim was already 80 years old, or late 70s and 80 years old, for 7 years he never slept in a bed during World War I. And the Shagaf Abu Mendelovich did not have a piece of meat for 6 years during World War II. And when the Ger Rebbe, the Beis Yisrael, was sitting during Chol Hamoed, Sukkot, during the Yom Kippur War, or before Yom Tov, whatever, he was sitting outside and he told the Gabbai, bring me a sweater, I need a sweater, I'm cold. And the Gabbai said, you're not feeling, I'm not feeling okay, so why are you cold? He said, I'm sitting in the Golan with the soldiers who are freezing. And I'm cold. No one in this room is under my Drake of the Chofetz Chaim. or Shagafah Mendelovitz, or the Ger Rebbe. I'm not telling everybody to stop eating meat. I'm not telling everybody to sleep on the floor. And I don't know what Shagafah Mendelovitz did on Shabbos. But I do know that we are not people who minimize our food intake on Shabbos. We don't even do that when we are oinim on Shabbos. But indulging in more food on Shabbos, we're having a Kiddush on Shabbos because we have an offer. It's going to be a regular Kiddush. Spoke to the Mendelsberg, such a chosh of a family. It's going to be a regular Kiddush with a little bit more additional food because more people are coming. A high-end Kiddush. Somebody called me up. He's invited to a siyum in a restaurant. Should he go? I said, if the person called me up to ask me if you should make a siyum in a restaurant, I would have told him no. But he decided to make a siyum in a restaurant. He's a good friend. Okay, you can go. Don't eat too much. That's what we're talking about. Again, this is not, everybody has their own issues. Everybody make up their own issues. Everybody figure out what they have to do. But we all have to do. We all have to do. Okay, Rabbi Zev. So, I would like to humbly suggest that tomorrow, as I mentioned, between Mincha and Ma'ariv, maybe we'll put out a video clip for tomorrow as well, in case people are not here who are going to hear it. Tomorrow, 15 minutes before Mincha, asking all the men to come to Shul to learn. This is the Parsha's Bereshis, talks about the mitzvah of Shabbos. The Kadosh Baruch Hu came into Shabbos on time, 15 minutes before Mincha. I'm asking the women to bench shlich 15 minutes early. And I know it's difficult, so I'm asking you now to change and make sure that your day is at 15 minutes earlier you can be in Shul. It's very difficult to be carrying a gun. And it's very difficult for what Klal Yisrael is going to be going through tomorrow. And somebody in Shul said a very ridiculous line. I don't know what tomorrow is, the day of rage, and not the day of rage, conflicting reports. The police met with the representatives of the community tonight. At 5 o'clock was a meeting with the police and with everybody else. And what's going to be tomorrow? France said there can't be any demonstrations. Everybody knows all the raid. We're all hostages. Everybody learned this week, no matter how much money you have, you can't get out of Eretz Yisrael if you're not going to, and you can't get into Eretz Yisrael. You can try to rent a plane, charter a flight. You can do whatever you want. If a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to get out, you're not getting out. That's the Metzius. We didn't learn that, or we did learn that, I should say. And what happened during this past summer for those people who went to vacation in Hawaii. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to vacation, you're not going to vacation, no matter how much money you have. That's one of the big limudim here. One of the big limudim here. The limud of Achdus is you're davening this way, and you're davening that way, and you're saying kapitel by kapitel on Shabbos, and we said pasuk by pasuk. You stopped some hakafis, we didn't stop some hakafis. There is no room to complain about what anybody else is doing. Unless they're doing something which is against halacha. That's what Achdus means. Shalom. Shalom. Do we need Achdus? That's what it says. We need Achdus. Do we need Tefillah? That's what it says. We need Torah? That's what it says. Do we need soldiers? That's what it says. Who are the soldiers and who are the mispalim? Great Shiloh. Our Shiloh is to understand that every single thing we spoke about is a Shiloh. And paskening these shilas need people who can paskin the shilas. So what does Hashem want from us? I don't know. Why is this happening? I don't know. And neither does anybody else. What are we supposed to do now in this matzav? This is called an Eis Tzar. Somebody gave a Gavaldik and Marshall. One of the yeshivas, I don't know where he got it from. I don't know if it's Zil Marshall. There's a bow and there's an arrow. The soldiers of the arrow, they go into the battlefield. The bows are people who stay behind and do all the mitzvahs. Not that they're not doing mitzvahs, they're doing gewaldige mitzvahs. But the mitzvahs are helping to power the arrow. That's how Klal Yisrael fights a war. From time immemorial. That's how we fight a war. If we don't have the mispalim, we don't have the leichim. So we should be zeicher, Rabbi say. I have a lot more to say, but we have to say Tehillim now. There's a lot to talk about. It's a complicated sugya. It's a complicated sugya. I ask only one thing. Don't let the Yetzer Hara get in to spoil the Achdus. Don't let the Yetzer Hara get in, because he's waiting out there. He's waiting out there. Everybody got the questions. What happened to the government? Why didn't the government know? Why did this happen? Why didn't this happen? Biden said this, the aircraft carrier is coming here, and this one said this, and Putin said this, and we who are not in the front lines, we zicha have this obligation. Achdus, Tefillah, Torah, and to make our lives a little bit less comfortable. And maybe, who's to say that tomorrow is not an inclusivity or equity, as they like to say nowadays, that all of a sudden everybody is chas v'sholom. Everybody chas v'sholom. Everybody chas v'sholom. Chas v'sholom. Chas v'sholom. We have extra security guards for tomorrow night, because nobody knows anything. So we should be Zeicher, Rabbi say. Achdus, Tefillah, Torah, in a little less comfort. That's what it says. Rashi and Chumash. That's what it says. Tomorrow morning is going to be a week. Shabbos morning is going to be a week. And we don't know what those soldiers are going to be going through in the next few days. Our soldiers, what they're going to be going through in the next few days. But we know we have to dive into them. Rahman al-San, the number of people have been killed. Rahman al-San, the number of people are injured. Rahman al-San, the number of people were taken hostage. I don't know if anybody saw the picture of a woman from Evanston the daughter was taken hostage. She was the caretaker for my mother-in-law. We know her very well. Everybody's connected here. Everybody's connected. We should all be zeicha to be matzliach. Let's start saying Tehillim right now. Again, we should be zeicha that by tomorrow, HaKadosh Baruch Hu could make this all over. Hatzlacha Rabbah to all of us, Kol Tov. We'll have much more to say, Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach. I'm going to start off with Kapitel Lamed, number 30. Excuse me, Kapitel Chof, number 20. Kapitel Chof, number 20. You can say Tehillim in English as well. Kapitel Chof, number 20. Lamenetech mizmol David. Yancha Adonai b'yom tzaro. Yisageb Choshem Elohei Yaakov. Yishlach Ezrecha mikodesh umitzion yisodeko. Yisko kol min choysecho v'yoyloscho yidash neselo. Yitain lecho chilva vecho v'chol atzosecho yimalei. Neranano b'shua secho b'shem Eloheinu nidgol Yemalei Adonai kol mish'aloi secho. Ato yodati ki Yoshia Adonai Mishichoi Yanehu Mishmei Kodshoi Bigvurois Yesha Yeminoi. Eile Vorechem Yeile Basusim V'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu nazkir. Eima karu v'nafalu V'anachnu kamnu v'nisoidon.
Adonai Hoshia, HaMelech Yaneinu, V'yayim Kareinu. Ayin Tesha, by saying this, you can say in English, it's a hard capital. We're going to say this capital a little longer. It's very meaningful. Mizmor Liyosaf, 79. Mizmor Liyosaf, Elohim, Bo Goyim Benachal Asecha, Timu Es Heichal Kodshecha, Samu Es Yushalayim Liyim. Nosnu Es Nivas Avodecha, Machol Yoy Vashamayim, V'sach Hasidecha, L'cha Yisoyoret. Shofchu Damam Kamayim, Sidivais Yerushalayim, V'yein Koiveh. Koyenu, Chepalish Cheinenu, Lag V'keles Esvivoiseinu. Anu Adonai tenaf lo netzach, tiva kimo yesh kinosecho. Shefoicha moscha el hagoyim, asher lo yeducha, yamam lachai, sheshem b'shimcha lo yikaro. Ki ochal es Yaakov, v'yesnoveyu heishamu. Al tiskar lanu abayis v'shoinim, ma yikadmunu rachamecha ki dalanu miyayim. Ojreinu Elohei Yisheinu al devakim oishemecha v'atzileinu v'chaper achatoseinu leman shemecha. Lama yoyru agoyim ayei Eloheihem Yivada bagoyim leineinu nikmas dam avodecha hashafuch. Tova lefonecha en kasosir ki godel zeruacha haseh b'nei simusa. Moshe l'shcheineinu shivasayim el cheikom cherpasam asher cherpucha Adonai. V'anachnu amcha b'tzoyin marisecha nodeh l'chol yoylam l'dor v'dor nisaper tilosecha. I'm going to make a mishaberach before we say Achenu. Mishaberach I will say Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Moshe Aaron David Shlomo Yivarech v'Yirapeh es kol ha'cholim es kol ha'petzuim es kol ha'shavuyim v'yitin koyach l'kol ha'chayolim. V'vu zeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yirah Malachim Maleim Lachlim Malapoisam Lachzika Machyoisam Yishalem Eiru for Shleimah and Shemaim L'chol Ibrei L'chol Gideim Zayshah L'chol Yeshurun Plus and never Shuvas Aguf Hashava goes by Kareem B'nei Maromei Acheiru Gavei Yishal Zor Shivyo Hayim Yom Yavasho Amakim Yirachim Aleim Yetzir Mitol V'acham Yvel Hayro Mishiva L'gula Hashava goes by Kareem B'nei Maromei. Yeah, Rabbi, say thank you all for coming. Anybody wants to say? I'm going to say shir right now on in Yonei Tefillah, as far as the Matzav is concerned, and as far as Tefillah in general is concerned. Okay, Rabbi, say we were learning this week for the Matzav in Eretz Yisrael, Perek in Brachos, which is the Perek on Tefillah. So I'd like to be able to share some insights that I came across with my chavrusas, Rabbi Yeshua Meir Schwartz and Rabbi Ephraim Prero. Okay, so even though people may not have a Gemara in front of them, I'm going to try to make it very, very clear, Bez Hashem. It's also going to be a little bit of a continuation of the Shabbos Shuvah Drasha, which I'll reference that and make that clear as well. Bez Hashem. Okay, so tonight's shir, as I said, is for the matzav, for everybody in Eretz Yisrael. Every single day we daven 3 tefillas, at least. Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv. Everybody knows that. We daven Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv. Shabbos, Yom Tov, Chodesh are 4 tefillas. All of these tefillas, l'kulei alma, hold that they are midarabona, and not midaraisa. There's a machlokes between the Rambam and the Ramban, whether there's a chiyuv once a day to daven. But l'maisa we hold that all tefillas are midarabah. Okay, now, but the Gemara says in Brachos, the Gemara we just learned this week, who created tefillah? Meaning, if it's the Rabbanon, fine. Who created tefillah? So the Gemara says on Daf Chav Ches, Mamish who we started this week, Daf Chav Vav Midbeis. Gemara makes the following statement. There's a machlokes in the Gemara. Yeshua Itmar, Rabbi Yosef Chanina Oimer Tfilos Avos Tiknum, Yavos from Masakin Tfilah. Yeshua ben Levi says Tfilos Keneged Tamidim Tiknum. One says it's for Karbonis, and one says it's from the Avos. The Gemara then brings a brisa as a raya to each one of these opinions. Now Rashi says the following: Keneged Avos Tiknum, as it says in the brisa coming up. Avram made Shachris, Yitzchak made Bincha, Yaakov made Ma'ariv. And then Rashi says, Keneged Tamidim Tiknum, Anshe Knesses HaGedolah. Rashi says they were made by the Anshe Knesses HaGedolah. Meaning, if you hold like the first man of the Avos, Avram made Shachris, Yitzchak made Bincha, Yaakov made Ma'ariv. If you hold that it was Keneged Karbonos, then it was made by the Anshe Knesses HaGedolah. So we asked the Shaila, Chavrusas, what do you, it seems that if you hold that Avos Tiknum was not made by Anshe Knesses HaGedolah. That's the Diak and Rashi. So who made up these tefillas? Who made up these tefillas? Okay, that's a shayla. Now Kiveger in Gilyan Hashas says to look in Tainus, in Rashi, Divrei Maschil Halolu, which is on the Ches Amud Aleph. So on the Ches Amud Aleph, the Gemara is discussing Tfilas Ne'ilah versus other tefillas. The Gemara makes a statement, and the Gemara says, on Daf Chav Ches Amud Aleph, Halalu Divrei Torah. Halalu Divrei Torah means Mincha is Midaraisa. That's what it seems to indicate, Divrei Torah. Mincha, Kiramina Bebrachis, Yitzchak Avinu Tikein Tfilas Mincha. Shenema vayetze Yitzchak l'suach v'asodeh lifnois erev. U'dine'ilah, ne'ilah is midivrei sefer. It seems that Kiveger is being mitzayin to look in Rashi, not the Gemara. The Gemara says halal divrei Torah. He says to look in Rashi is one of my chavrusas made the diak. Think of Ephraim. He says to look in Rashi. Rashi says halal divrei Torah
Yitzchak Avinu was Masaket Tfilas Mincha. Yitzchak Avinu was Masaket Tfilas Mincha. Now the Pashtus means, Pashtus is it's Minat Torah. However, no one brings down a Shita L'Halacha that holds that it's Minat Torah. No one holds any one of the Gimel Tfilas during the day of Minat Torah. Nobody holds like that. So what's going on? Now the Achroinim all say in Tainus an interesting thing. When Rashi says, and the Gemara says, although Divrei Torah, Rashi says Mincha, it means there is the opinion of the Yadavid, the Marzchias, and the Mitzvah Eson. They all say it means that a Navi made up the Tefillah. A Navi made up the Tefillah. Avram was a Navi, Yitzchak was a Navi, Yaakov was a Navi. They made up the Tefillah. And if a Navi made up the Tefillah, it's more choshev than Ne'ilah. Why? Because Ne'ilah was definitely not made up by one of the others. Therefore, Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv are more choshev than Ne'ilah, which is an absolute pella. Because he said in the Shabbat Shuvah Drasha, quoting the Maram Shif, and even quoting the Mishnah Berurah, but the Maram Shif for sure says that the tachlis of all tefillas is Ne'ilah. And here it says Shachris Mincha Ma'ariv, more choshev than Ne'ilah. Okay. First things first. What's that? Not based on a korban. Yeah, bother.
Referring to the words or the Zman?
What's that?
Referring to the words or the Zman or both?
What do you mean?
The words of the tefillah or the fact that it was at this time?
I think both.
Rashi
Both.
says mincha?
What?
Rashi says mincha?
Rashi and Tainus says mincha, yeah. Halalu divrei Torah mincha, because that's what the Mishnah is talking about. The Mishnah is talking about mincha. Okay. So maybe it's Rashi l'shitaso. Rashi in Brocha says, tefillah over stiknum, it's not Achikeres HaGedolah. It's talking not Achikeres HaGedolah. Achikeres HaGedolah is only if he holds the Kineged Karbanis. Holds Kineged Ovis, it's not Achikeres HaGedolah. Who is it? It's Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So if they have a din mamish of divrei Torah, so that the Achronim say no. Does Rabbi Zev mean to say that Rashi holds literally divrei Torah? Pashtus not. What? They were in the Nevi'im and Achikeres HaGedolah also. That's true, but Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov not part of Achikeres HaGedolah. That's correct. Okay, now, so somebody had a shiloh. Now this shiloh really happened. Not in this format, but the shiloh really happened. We spoke about this shiloh also in the Shabbat Shuvah Drasha. Somebody got sick, Rahman al-Islam, and he went to bed. And in Kippur, he went to bed. After Shachris, he went to bed. And he was he woke up 5 minutes before Shkia. Let's say he davened Musaf. After Musaf, he went to bed. He woke up 5 minutes before Shkia. So right now he has to have Mincha and Ne'ilah. So what should he do? So somebody asked me the shiloh. A simple shiloh. A person got up in the morning and got out of New York. And whatever happened, he davened Vasikin, he had to make a flight, and it was Mishchayrish. So he left the minyan after Kriyas HaTorah. He didn't daven Musaf. And he planned on landing in Chicago, and he would daven Musaf when he got to Chicago, and he forgot. And it's 5 minutes before Shkia. He hasn't davened Mincha, and he hasn't davened Musaf. What should he daven? So what should he daven? Mincha or Musaf? No, what are you talking? Mincha, why Mincha? Tada Kodim, good bread. Tada Kodim is a din in Kedima. It's not necessarily a din in not doing something. So Musaf really came first. The Chiyuv of Musaf came in the morning. What's that? Musaf is Kol Hayoyim, but I'm saying the Chiyuv of Musaf started before the Chiyuv of Mincha.
Musaf's lower Madrega than Mincha.
Musaf's lower Madrega than Mincha? Why? So according to these sheetas, if you hold that tefillah is a avos tiknum, then in a chanamit, then mincha is a malach. Musaf doesn't have. Besides what Brad said of tada b'shem tada kodim, mincha is more chashiv. Mincha is more chashiv. Okay, so that's going to be it's a real shiloh, Rabbi say. I don't know how to. That's a great shiloh. If you have time to do both, a person didn't daven Musaf, and now it's after Chatzos, you can daven Mincha. Which one should you do first? Huh?
Simple Torah, we do Musaf.
Yeah, that's the way the minig and Kal Yishol is, that's for sure. Simple Torah day. It's also in the game, in some Minyanim, it's even the game Musaf and Rosh Hashanah. They can start Musaf so late. Yeah, that's the Pashas. You do Musaf first. The Pashas, you do Musaf first in that situation. 4 minutes.
Right, so what's the happen? We only have 5 minutes left.
Oh, that's the Shiloh.
But if you remember to daven mincha, let's say you landed and you went to 1:30 mincha, and you still didn't daven musaf, and it's 5 minutes before shkia, you're still allowed to daven musaf.
Not only allowed, you have to have Musaf.
I'm saying, but even though you daven mincha already, meaning musaf.
I'll tell you a trick that I do sometimes. I've had this happen to me before. I had to get back to first Seder. And I davened Vosikin in New York. And I only davened Shabbos. And I went to the airport. And I got here. And at the 12:30 Mincha, I davened Musaf. When everybody else was davening Mincha, I davened Musaf. So I got Tefillah B'tzibur. And then when the Oilam davened Mincha, I davened Mincha. So I hit Tefillah B'tzibur for all 3 Tefillahs. All 3 Tefillahs. And I'll tell you the truth, in my Mincha, I very often ask the Shiloh, if anybody hasn't heard laning yet, I would raise my hand and say, I haven't heard laning yet. And we got 6 people, very often we got 6 people I was able to lane. So we laned before Mincha, I got laning, and then I davened Musaf while they were davening Mincha, and I davened Mincha while they were davening Mincha, and that's all. I'm not recommending that to anybody to do, I'm just only I did it to get the first Seder. Okay, fine. Now, but there's one more tefillah here, Rabbi Zev, and this is a if you only have time for one. Yeah. Okay, so now I think this is going to be the Shiloh. If you hold, now this is a Shiloh, the Rambam does not say like this. If you hold that tefillah is keneged, always tiknum, then mincha is more chashiv than musaf. If it's more... Good, that's true. That's a mile that the musaf has, but the mile that the mincha has is that mincha is more chashiv be'etzem than musaf. So if you only have a chance to have one, you got to have mincha. Mincha knocks off musaf. Not before, ain't a chanami. Before, because you have time for both. That's like the same din. What? Yeah, that's the same din that you have all the time when you say essay say l'mashal. It's only if yesh l'kayim shneim. Yesh l'kayim shneim should do them both, right? But I want to say to you like this: what happens if you have only 5 minutes left? It's shkia time. Pashta says you have to start in Ila before Shkia. It's Yom Kippur. What's more chashav, Mincha and Ila? Everybody would say Ila. I don't know if that's true.
The fact that you can be mashlim one mincha is not going to be a factor?
The fact that you could what? Be mashlim mincha? Not right now. You can't rely on that. Chila can't rely on that. What's that?
It says there's 4 tefillahs, so they're equal. They're all equal.
Oh, that's a good shayla. I don't know if that's true. That's a nice raya. It's a nice raya. I don't know if that's true. If they're all equal. They're all equal that you have to daven for 5 tefillahs on Yom Kippur without the Ma'ariv the night before. You have to do that. I don't know if they have all equality, if they're abutting each other. I don't know what the din is. I don't know what the din is. Okay, that's one chiddush. Yeah, go ahead.
Are the words much different?
Are the what?
Are the words different for...
Mincha versus Neila?
Yeah.
What do you mean the words?
What does it change? Is it only the vidui at the end change?
No, change in the middle also. Leman lechtal. I mean, there are different words. Okay, I mean, it's an interesting shayla. It's an interesting shayla. If we have time, I'll even add one more point. But I want to say this. What's that?
Neil is the same until vidui.
Neil is not the same as mincha. Leman lechtal. That's not vidui. That's before vidui.
So is the Rav saying that it's not connected the avos, or if it wasn't going to be talking about the avos, then you would have a shayla, which one comes first, unless it's for mincha?
I'm wondering.
So if you're connected avos, that gives it an extra mile?
That's what it says. Rashi says it as a mile. That's what the Mishnah in Tainus is about. The Mishnah in Tainus says it as a mile. As a mile over Neila. It says has a mile over Neila. So we're learning, and this shayla came up when you have mincha and musaf. Okay, I don't know. The Gemara is talking about that mincha has a mile over Neila. That's what the Gemara is talking about in Tainus. Okay, now I want to tell you a chiddush. So we sent the shayla today to Rabbi Zev Cohen, the shayla, and I spoke to a few people. Some of my friends were big on I want to tell you a chiddush. Okay, the shmooze doesn't make me smile because the shmooze is talking about the Eitz Torah. Here we're learning. I'm a lot of smile while we're learning, even though we're learning having this here because the Eitz Torah. A lot of this. I love this shayla. Every time a Jew gets up to daven the entire year, there's not one tefillah that's min Torah. All the tefillahs are the Rabban. All tefillahs are Rabban. However, now you have to know. I'm sorry. Can I trouble you for Rambam Zmanim and the Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs? There was one time, besides the fact that the Rambam holds that when you say Moedani in the morning, that could be a Kiyum Daraisa. But there's one time where Tefillah is Daraisa. Tefillah is Daraisa. And this is based off a pasuk in Parshas Baloischa. And the Rambam says this, and the Ramban says this. The Rambam says this in Hilchos Tainis, Perek Aleph Halacha Aleph. And, what's that? Oh boy, big ones. What is this? What's the man? Okay, only need this one. Thank you. Okay, so listen to this, Rabbi Zev. The Rambam says in the beginning of Hilchos Tainis, for some reason I don't know why, in the Rambam it's called Hilchos Taniyos, and in the Shulchan Aruch it's called Hilchos Tainis. But somebody can find that teretz me. I like it very much. Mitzvah say min Torah. It's a daraisa. Lizoik to David u'ariya b'chatzaytros and to blow chatzaytros al kol tzara shetabal ha'tzibur. Shema atzara tzera eschem aroisa b'chatzaytros. Kloima kol dovish yetzel lechem k'goy tzuras b'tzayres v'deve v'arbek yetzel b'zeh zog v'aleim v'hiriyu. You should David. Now the Rambam seems to indicate that what you should do be'is tzara is to daven and to blow chatzaytros. In the Koteret, in the heading of Hilchos Taniyos, the Rambam says, I called my Mechutin, David Parnas, one of the big Lamdonim in the country, I called him to ask him this shayla. So in the Ketoret, in the heading, it says, Mitzvah se'achas v'hi lizlik l'fnei Hashem b'chol eis tzara gedoyla sh'aytav al. Okay. So I had a shayla. Every day we're saying to him. Right? Every day we're saying to him. Now, Eis Tzara, when a person davens Beis Tzara, according to the Rambam and according to Ramban, it's a Kiyum Daraisa. Now, do you need Chatzaytros to be kind of Daraisa or not? That's a very good shayla. That's a good shayla. So I wanted to know the following. Today, everybody in this room today, last night of Ma'ariv, I didn't have Ma'ariv yet today, but last night of Ma'ariv, Shachas and Mincha. Everybody did that for sure. 3 tefillas. And everybody said Shir HaMalos at least one time today or another Kapitel Tehillim. I want to know like this. Is it possible to say that the tefillas we daven are the Rabbana and the Tehillim we said is the Raisa? Because the Tehillim is because of Eis Tzara. The tefillas are because you got to daven those 3 short essays every day. So I sent that shout out to Rabbi Zev Cohen. What? Okay. So Rabbi Zev Cohen sent back without a marmokum. He apologized for being short. What's that? Tehillim is a way to daven to Hashem. Ela v'recha v'elo susam v'achar Shem l'kir naski. It's a tefillah. What else is it? It's a... Set up an ace rotza. Okay, I hear you. Even the Tehillim, it's not a chol, it's a kiyum of a jar. Okay. Now 1 second. So Rabbi Zev Cohen sent back without a marmokum. He apologized for being short, and he said all the tefillahs during an Eis Tzara and Shir HaMalos are all daraisa. All tefillahs. Right. Okay. Now, he didn't send back a raya, and I'm not here to say that I'm disagreeing with this Zilberstein, but I hear there's a mokkah to be chaylik. But even if we're not chaylik from Yitzchak Zilberstein, let's just go for a second. People have told me they're fatigued. Fatigue sets in. Even though we're only saying Tehillim for 6 days, but already fatigue sets in. Change the kapitluch, don't say the same 2 kapitluch every day, don't say it 3 times a day, it's too much, and this and that. Fatigue sets in, that's all finished. Fatigue sets in. The first morning of Sukkot, the Nanuim are Moiridik. The 6th day of Sukkot already, I'm not so, Hashem keeps telling me, okay, I have to force myself to scream. The first day, we're all over the place. That's it, human nature. So last night we're learning, I got this machshava. I got so excited because Rabbi Zev Cohen was masking that Shir HaMalos is the Raisa. That he was masking to Shir HaMalos is the Raisa. The shaila is if Shachar Mincha Ma'ariv is also the Raisa. So I'm not sure. He didn't bring a right to anything. He just said it. He said he has no time to. The man's busy. What's the criteria? I want to just tell you, he's the one who paskin.
What's the criteria?
I'll take your question in half a second. Rabbi Leff told me, I spoke to Rabbi Leff this week also, we've been on the phone a lot, that Relef told me that Bitzak Zilberstein is one of Paskim Rachmana Litzlan. There's a big shiloh going on right now. Fighting Hamas. What's going to be with the hostages? This is a terrible, terrible shiloh. These are not the shilohs anybody wants to ever get in their lifetime. Okay, well, but Rabbi Zev Cohen is the one who handled the shiloh for the. This is a really serious shiloh. I mean, we're talking about a very serious level placing of it. It doesn't need my askama. We're talking about, I'm sorry. So what do you want to ask?
What is the criteria for Eis Sorah?
Oh, what's the criteria for Eis Sorah? Veisachnit. But I know one thing for sure. This is an Eis Sorah. Alzeh, we don't need any diun over here. We are in an Eis Sorah. And then Rabbi Zev Cohen added, without talking about tomorrow, Rabbi Zev Cohen added, and don't cholim. He doesn't say the word cholim. I'm adding the word cholim. Be a little dramatic. Don't cholim that the only people in an Eis Sorah are the people in Eretz Yisrael. We're all in an Eis Sorah. We're all in an Eis Sorah. Because chas v'sholem, nobody, it doesn't take a lot to figure out why everybody's in an Eis Sorah. Everybody's in an Eis Sorah. We're not hiring cops tomorrow to be security to be because everybody's in an Eis Sorah. Okay. So I want to know like this. So whichever way you go, Shir Malus is a deraisa. So the first thing is Rabbi Say. You say a capital Tehillim. What's the capital Tehillim? Okay, it's like capital Tehillim. Yeah, no, I'm taking off my Tehillim. I'm running out the door. I know what the words mean. I know what the words mean. Capital Tehillim during an Eis Sorah is a deraisa. It's a deraisa. That is powerful. For me, it's stopped the feelings of fatigue that were starting to creep in. This is the deraisa. I spoke to one of my chavrusas today who's a rebbe in a high school, and he told me that this morning he told us Talmidim the same thing. How many, imagine saying to a 15-year-old, you never daven the tefillah deraisa in your life? You can say the same thing to a 50-year-old also, or to a 75-year-old. Did you ever daven a tefillah deraisa in your life? We are in an Eis Sorah. We're in an Eis Sorah. Now I want to know something. This you can clear. Is Musaf, Sunday, Mondays, Mishchedes, right? So is Musaf an Eis Sorah Tefillah? What is Musaf? What's Avos Kavodas? I asked you a question. You answer my question or I answer my question? It's not the same type of tefillah, right? Right? Is that what you said? Okay, I have a question for you. You have 5 minutes left on Sunday if somebody gets into the same issue. He has Mincha and Musaf. Mincha and Musaf, what should he daven? No? Tell me. Who? Now he's zichas daven Mincha. You know why? Because Mincha is the Raisa, Musaf is not.
Why is Musaf not the Raisa?
I don't know, I'm clearing. I don't know. I don't know where you're going to find the Shiloh. You need some going over here to go find the Shiloh somewhere. Is Musaf on an Eis Sorah or the Raisa? And I'm not saying Mincha is the Raisa. Mr. Zilberstein's saying that. I'm not saying that. Well, I'm not saying the following also, by the way. There's 5 minutes left. You want to say Shir Amalis knocks off Mincha. That's not true. That's for sure not true. Even according to me, that's not true, because you can daven Shir Amalis afterwards.
The reason you daven Mincha is because of Mincha.
What's that?
The reason you daven Mincha is because of Mincha.
Right.
You daven Shir Amalis because it says Tar.
That's right. I'm saying, okay, good. Fine, but you can daven 5 minutes later.
Even if Mincha, why is Mincha the Raisa? It's the reason you
He says, this is what he said. I didn't say this. He said it. I'm telling you what, I'm not coming to, he doesn't bring a riot, so I don't know. Libi Amali, that Mincha is not Eis Sorah. The tefillah that you daven because of the Eis Sorah, the Hisafah that you daven because of the Eis Sorah. Well, the mice in the middle of Mincha, you haven't kavanah for Eretz Yisrael. So, does that turn the whole Mincha into what Eis Sorah did? I don't know.
If a person doesn't say Tehillim,
What's that?
let's say a guy doesn't say Tehillim. So his tefillah is on Eis Sorah nowadays? His tefillah is not the rest of tefillah?
I understand. You want to say yes. You're in good company. If it's like someone agrees with you.
If he doesn't, if he says Shema, okay, I hear it. He's not saying Shema, but it's the rest.
What's Vada the rest?
He's not saying Tehillim.
Okay, so maybe he's blowing it, not being Mekayim the rice of Bechal. How do you know he's being Mekayim with Mincha? He davens Mincha every Tuesday. What's today? Thursday. He davens Mincha every Thursday. So I that because it's an Eis Sorah, it makes Mincha into a deraisa? I don't know.
If a person says Tehillim during Eis Sorah without any das, he's still
If a person's saying Tehillim during an Eish Sarah because he says Tehillim every day, he says Tehillim every day. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't help.
It's not deraisa, right?
I would say I would agree with you.
So therefore,
That's why you're going to disagree with. That's why you're going to disagree with the person sitting next to you over there, whose name is Aaron Walker. You're going to say the minchas also not an Eish Sarah. I don't know. That's my shayla.
if you don't have das, if you have das, then you want to be in the kaim, like,
Good. I'm asking. If during Sim Shalom, I want to tell you something, Rabbi. So I meant to make an announcement. I can't. There's too many things. I can't say everything. I can't say everything all the time. It's just too much to say. Like I could have spoken before for an hour instead of speaking for 20 minutes. But listen, what do you hear these words? We say these words every single tefillah, every single day. We call achoshim alai ro. Meheira hofer atzosam bekalka machshavtim. It's not negay for tomorrow. Call achoshim alai ro. Anybody who thinks raw about us, meheira hofer atzosam bekalka machshavtim. I don't want to be dramatic. I stopped dead in my tracks for Shmon Esrei 3 days ago. I mean, I've said this obviously, many times in my lifetime, as we all have. Does that turn it into a deraisa? I would say Pashas, yes. I don't know. I don't know what the gather is, but I know one thing for sure: that we have a chance to mekayim a mitzvah say deraisa every time we daven during an Eish Chaparai mitzvah deraisa. I mean, again, I'm not. We don't want it to be an Eish Sarah, but it's an Eish Sarah, yes.
Maybe there's tefillah, that's one thing. Maybe our Tehillim are more like the Hatzos.
Okay, for that you need a long beard and what type of hat you got to wear. I don't know. I hear. I can't tell you. There's a big tumult about the chatzaitis, by the way. We don't use chatzaitis anymore, obviously. And when they have an Eish Sarah tinus in Eretz Yisrael because there's no rain, they don't use chatzaitis. Some of them use shayfas. They ask the shayla, make chatzaitis. I had it made out of silver, make them out of silver. So they say that you can only use chatzaitis that are made for the base of Mikdash. Right. Okay, whatever. What's that?
We have Tehillim.
Yeah, we have Tehillim. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I want to end, Rabbi, say that. Listen, I started off before in the shmooze. I'm saying right now the same thing. Anybody thinks the Yetzer Hara is not trying to stop us to daven, doesn't know what the Yetzer Hara is. Just like the Yetzer Hara is trying to mess us up with Achdus, the Yetzer Hara is trying to mess us up with davening also. I had a very choshev person, I'm not going to mention his name obviously, very choshev person in America, one of the most choshev askadim in the country, who cried to me yesterday in the phone. That, his davening got messed up because whatever tumults are going on, the Yetzer Hara took his davening away and he got off a tumult, Nobody's hitting Hashem Siftach and ending Yil Rotzen Mifi with perfect concentration. It's just not happening. And he's sitting there right by the door to mess us up. That's his job. So that's what he's doing over here. But every one of our tefillahs, we need every one of our tefillahs. It's unbelievable. So fatigue, Vashetak is fatigue. But it's din daraisa, that's a chizuk. So and those of us who forget about the people in Eretz Yisrael, but those of us who are 6,000 miles away, it's harder also. So we have to daven. I have to tell you the truth. For me, this simple story was the hardest simple story I ever had. Every down second, I'm thinking about the army. It was hard for me to, it was hard for me to get into the dancing the way I normally get into the dancing. This guy's captured, and this guy's this, and this guy. That was before we knew any details. Before we knew the gruesomeness that was going on here. It's like a pachad. Okay, our job is to be mishtatif. How are we mishtatif? Davening, learning. Tomorrow, 15 minutes beforehand. Tonight, anybody who can stay, I myself, I don't think I can stay, but anybody who can stay for Mishma, stay. You can't, go home. So as I said, the challenge now is the battle is what do I do during my downtime? Where I may relax. Most of the time during my downtime, now it might be a time to turn down our relaxation. That's it. You want to know what to do? I told somebody, don't put pancake syrup on your waffles. He said, "Oh, come on, give me something more than that." I said, "Okay, don't put ketchup on your chicken. I don't figure out something that's not meaningful to you. Meaningful to you. That's it's a serious thing. Not on Shabbos, as I said, not on Shabbos. Overindulgence is now a time to. Enough said. Everybody knows what to work on. We should all be zeichet and matzliach. Let's stop in my Rabbi Zev.
davening too?